I've spent a long time experimenting and researching, and I think I've come up with my ultimate Detroit-style pizza. Hi, I'm Kyle, and this is Kokanee and Cask, and this is Pizza Lab number 3. The 3 things that make a signature Detroit-style pizza are the crust, the cheese, and the sauce. Let's first talk about that crust. Along with the dough that we're making, which is going to be light and fluffy and airy, which is very much, akin to a Detroit-style pizza, we also need that crust, which creates that frico, cheese, crisp edge that is what makes that amazing crunch and that amazing taste to the pizza. And the thing that drives that is the pan. I'm using a LloydPan. LloydPan is probably the most famous pan that is used for Detroit-style pizzas today. This is a 10 by 14. You can also get an 8 by 10. I'll link the description of where you can get these on Amazon below. They're pretty easy to find. They're not super cheap, but they're also a great investment if you plan on doing this on a fairly regular basis. So for our dough, we're going to do a very similar recipe to what we did for the cast iron deep dish pizza I did in a previous episode. I'll have that linked up above here. But we're going to make this very simple. It's a pretty easy dough to make, a couple proving sessions that we have to do to make it all come together, but a very simple dough, and it's a dough that we can do the same day. So this is something that you can start midday, even early afternoon, and have it ready to go by the time dinner time comes around 6:30, 7 o'clock. We're gonna start with 415 grams of bread flour. King Arthur is the one you've seen me use in multiple of my episodes. We'll continue with that. We want a high hydration flour dough mix here. So along with this amount of flour, we are going to do a 75% water to dough ratio. So what that does is it creates a dough that's a little more light and fluffy. It allows it to stand up to the ingredients when we add those on top, when we go to bake. So it just makes a better overall dough for this type of pizza. So we're gonna start mixing here. So our 415 grams of flour. And then we're also gonna add in 3/4 teaspoon of instant rise yeast like we've talked about before. And we're also going to use 10 grams of sea salt. So we're gonna add that in. Let's mix that all around just to incorporate all those ingredients quickly. That should be great. And now we're going to add in 311 grams of 100 to 105 degree water. So real simple. In addition, we're just gonna add in a little bit of olive oil, about a tablespoon. All right, good to go. Again, as I've done in the past, I'm going to just use my hands for mixing. You can use a mixer if you'd like, but I find that this just allows you to control this. We do not want to over mix it. We just want to get all these ingredients incorporated into a solid mass. So once we have that incorporated into a mass, it should look just like that. Super simple, and we're good to go. We're going to let this sit for about 15 to 20 minutes. We're gonna cover it, put it in a nice warm place, and that'll be our first proof. So our first 20-minute proof is done. I'm gonna get this dough out. I've got my mat here with just a little bit of flour on it to get this dough. Just ease it out onto there. Oh, looks great. Still gonna be really sticky. That's what we want. No problem there. I'm just gonna add a little more flour to the top here. And all we wanna do is do 3 to 6 stretches of this. So we're not doing a ton of work on this. We just wanna, again, continue to get this a little more, activate those glutens. All right. Just a couple more stretches here. All right. It's already starting to look like a pretty nice little soft ball of dough. So we're just gonna get this back in there, and we're gonna do another 20-minute proof. So our second 20-minute proof is done. We're gonna get this dough out, and we're gonna do one more set of folds on this. So again, we don't wanna stretch this too much. We just wanna ease it out and get it onto our surface here. There we go. And if your hands get a little sticky, a little quick tip, you can just get them a little wet with water. So that makes it a little easier sometimes to manipulate that. So great. Add a little more flour on top again. All right, and we're gonna do folds again. Just 3 to 6 folds again. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Add a little more flour there. It's getting a little sticky. 5, and 6. All right, that looks pretty good. Roll that over, shape it. It should just look nice and soft, nice and smooth. I think that looks pretty good. All right. We are now going to just add a little bit of oil to the bottom of our bin. Just get that nice and coated. And we're gonna get our dough back in there, and we're gonna do a 2-hour proof. It's been 2 hours, and the next step in this is to get the dough in the pan. Look at that dough, that's amazing. It's risen probably 2 to 3 times what it was when we first put it in there, so that's a fantastic rise. I'm really happy with that. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do about 2 tablespoons of oil in the pan. We wanna coat this pan really well before we get the dough in the pan. I'm just gonna wing it. That looks about right. And then we're just literally take your hands and we're gonna work it around, get the sides, make sure you get those corners. That's always the tricky part in these square pans. We just want that nice and lubricated so there's no sticking when that dough is in that pan and that frico is crusting up on the sides. We want it all nice and oiled up. Next up, we're gonna get the dough in the pan. So we're gonna use this. What I'm gonna do, you'll see I'm just literally just poking it a little bit, kind of breaking it up. And then we're gonna go ahead and slowly slide this in the pan. And then we'll get in a close-up shot here and we'll start working this dough and stretching it out in the pan. All right. So now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna do like we did in the other cast iron deep dish video. We're just gonna work our hands and we just wanna get this dough stretched out to where it's completely touching all 4 corners. And this may take a minute. That glutens are still relaxing. And if you're having trouble with this and it's not stretching, take a break, give it another 20, 30 minutes in the pan before you start doing this again. This is pretty loose. We're gonna be able to work this and massage it in there pretty easily. But you just wanna get it stretched and get it all the way into those corners. And with this, you want it completely flat. You do not want a crust or an edge on it. You just want that dough completely flat, distributed evenly across the entire pan. That looks great. So now what we're gonna do, we need to do our final proof on this. We need to wrap this for about 90 minutes, let it rest and expand in the pan, and then we'll be ready to bake. The second key component to Detroit style pizza is the sauce. Detroit sauce is designed to be thick and bright and very tomato forward. It's designed to stand up against all that rich cheese that we're gonna put in there. And in addition to that, it's also a cooked sauce. Traditionally, it's layered on top of the pizza after the bake. So once we get this tomato sauce all mixed up, we're gonna actually simmer it on the stovetop. We'll walk through that here in a minute. So let's go ahead and start. We're gonna use 28 ounces of whole peeled tomatoes. Again, San Marzano style is the key. They're sweet, they're already peeled, there's no skins on them. So we're just gonna add these and then manually break them up before we add in all of our ingredients. So let's go ahead and get these poured in here. All right. So what we're gonna do, I just use my hands and we're gonna just break these up, keep them in there because they will squirt all over if you're not careful. But just, carefully break up all those tomatoes and just hand mix it with that puree. And then the key thing too with this is that once you get this thing simmering on that stovetop, all this pulp that you'll see, it's actually gonna break down and you'll be able to blend it even further once you get it on that stovetop. So now we're going to get all the ingredients that we're gonna put into our sauce. So for this recipe, for this sauce, we're gonna start with 3 grams of sea salt. We're gonna do a ½ teaspoon of garlic powder. You can up that, down that a little bit depending on how much garlic you like. I like a lot of garlic. We're going to do a ¼ teaspoon of chili flakes. We're also gonna do a teaspoon of oregano, a ½ teaspoon of thyme, and then we're gonna do a little bit of pepper, just a pinch, shake in there, again, to your taste. I have them already pre-mixed in here, so we're just gonna add all this in. Perfect. We're gonna get that mixed up now, and we'll get this on the stove. Once we've got that sauce here in the pan, and we've got it simmering, I've got my setting on about between 1 and 2. You don't want it simmering too heavy and splattering, just enough to keep the bubbles. And then you're gonna simmer this for about 20 minutes. And checking it every 2-3 minutes. I have a little cover that I can put on it so it doesn't splatter, whatever works best for you. It's been about 20 minutes now, so we're gonna go ahead and turn off the heat here. And like I said before, you wanna be able to draw your spatula through that sauce and it leaves a trail like that. So this is in good shape. It's probably going to cool down a little bit and it'll continue to thicken after the heat's been turned off of it. And then I'll probably warm it up again right before we apply it to the pizza after it comes out of the oven. So this looks amazing. Let's talk about the third component that makes amazing Detroit style pizza, and that is the cheese. So for traditional Detroit style pizza, we use what's called Wisconsin brick, and it is a very rich, creamy cheese that originates obviously in Wisconsin in the Midwest. A lot harder to find out here in the West Coast where I'm at. So I've been experimenting over a long period of time, trying different combinations, and I've come up with what I think is the best combination of cheesy, melty, tangy, yummy cheese blend that works for these Detroit style pizzas. And that for me is a 50% blend of mozzarella, 30% sharp cheddar, and 20% of Monterey Jack. So for my mixture, I'm gonna do about 8 ounces of mozzarella, 3.5 ounces of sharp cheddar, and 2.5 ounces of Monterey Jack. That's the blend. I'm gonna take a majority, probably about 2.5 of that 3.5 ounces of sharp cheddar, along with about 1 ounce of mozzarella. And I'm gonna set that aside, and this is what I'm gonna really make sure it gets packed into the corners and the edges of that pizza. And then I'm gonna take the rest of the cheese blended together, and that's what we're going to put across the entire top, covered evenly across the entire pizza. One thing I almost forgot to mention is when we get to about 45 minutes out from that proof being done, we want to go ahead and get that oven turned on. We want that oven turned on to 500. Make sure that your pizza stone or your pizza steel is in the oven for that entire 45 minutes. We want it to absorb all that heat and be super hot when we go ahead and put that pan in. Our final proof is done. So we get to unveil our dough. Look at that dough. That looks amazing. Wow, look at that. Look how much that has risen. That is perfect. So our oven is almost ready to go. It's been sitting at 500 for almost 45 minutes. And let's talk real quick about how we're gonna bake this. With this dough, we are going to do a par bake. And the reason for that, especially with the Detroit style, is it allows that dough to firm up a little bit and allows it to stand up to the ingredients you're gonna put on later. That cheese is a pretty heavy layer. Your other ingredients, it makes it so this big, thick, fluffy dough doesn't sink down at all when those ingredients are put on. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start out with an 8 to 10 minute par bake in the oven at 500 degrees on the bottom rack with that pizza stone, in my case a pizza steel that's sitting there, and then we're gonna check it. What we want is for that to be golden brown in spots, not totally golden brown, but just starting to create some color on top. Well, that should tell us then that the underneath is nice and crisp and crusty, and then we'll pull it and we'll talk about the next step after that. Yes. It's been 10 minutes. We're done. Let's get this thing pulled out. Oh yeah. A little bit of golden brown. Look at that. You can see a couple spots here and there. I think that looks great. So now what we're gonna do, we've pulled it out. We're gonna get the cheese on it. But while we're doing that, we're gonna adjust our oven and change it to 475 for the second bake. So we're gonna get this cheese on. Remember we started, we're gonna do our right around the edges first. And it's gonna caramelize, and that's what's gonna give us that amazing crust. So I've got my smaller mixture of the sharp cheddar with a little bit of mozzarella in there. We're getting that in all the corners. All right. And now we're gonna take the rest of this and we're gonna put it over the top. Nice and cheesy. All right, once that's in there, we're just gonna go around the edges, make sure it's just packed in there nice, tight. Careful, don't burn yourself. Now we're gonna do our toppings. So this is just a hot Italian chicken sausage. I like the chicken sausage. It's from Acerno's. I can put a link down in the description for you, but I love the flavor of it. It's got a nice little fat content to it. Tastes amazing. All right. And then we have this amazing pepperoni. This is a cup and char pepperoni and really high-end, nice stuff. I forget the actual name of it. I will put that in the description. Look at that. Doesn't that look pretty? Oh yeah, I'm so excited. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this and we're gonna put it back in the oven at 475 degrees for 8 to 12 minutes until we get some golden brown on top, and that cheese should be bubbling. So let's get this back in there. It's been a little over 10 minutes. We're gonna check it one last time, but I'm pretty sure we're good to go. Oh yeah, I think that's perfect. Some golden brown. We're gonna go ahead and pull this out. Oh, that looks amazing. Here, get a close up. There you go. Oh, look at that. That looks amazing. All right. So we're gonna set this over here and we're gonna let it rest for 5 minutes, cool off a little bit, and then we'll get it over to the rack. The other thing that we wanna do is we wanna take our little knife and work our way around and make sure that all the cheese is loosened up from the sides. That way, nothing sticks. You can see that crust looks really good. I'm really excited for this. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and do the sauce, traditional Detroit style. You're gonna do 3 rows of the sauce, just like stripes along the pizza. So we're literally gonna dribble that across. Oh, that looks awesome. All right, do a middle one. That looks beautiful. Oh, you can smell the sauce. Wish I could pump that right through to you through the camera because it tastes amazing and it smells even better. And here we go, 3rd row. Oh yeah. And you'll see that 28-ounce can, once it's reduced down and everything, it's just about the exact right amount of sauce for a single pizza. So, especially a large pizza like this. So that looks fantastic. And while we're waiting this to finish cooling here, one quick thing to talk about. The best tool you can use to get these out of these Detroit style pans is a nice flat, really skinny, strong metal spatula. This is a Vavoli. I can't pronounce it, but I'll leave a link in the description for this, but something like this with a little beveled edge, really thin, super strong. That's what you want. Makes it really easy to get that out of here. So let's go ahead and get this pizza out of the tin. We're gonna slide that out right onto the rack. Woohoo! Look at that. Yes! We're getting ready to get a cut on this. We're gonna grate a little bit of fresh Parmesan on here. Look at that. That looks amazing. All right, and for the pièce de résistance, we're gonna just add a little bit of basil all over, just for a little color, a little flavor, a little of that herbal note to it. Love that smell. Basil is the best. I don't know about you, that looks like an amazing pizza. This is fantastic. Our final product, look at that crust. Just baked cheddar and Monterey Jack cheese. Perfect golden brown. Let's do a cut and get into this. Let's listen to that crunch. Oh, wow, you hear that? Goodness gracious. We're gonna do a side cut. Perfect. Get our spatula. Pull that up. Look at that. Yes, that looks amazing. Zoom in, look at the side of that dough. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. The moment of truth. I cannot wait. I'm pretty sure I'll burn my mouth off here, but I don't care. I'm so hungry. I've been waiting all night for this. Oh wow, look at that. Amazing. What an episode. This pizza turned out fantastic. Everything about it, the crust with the cheddar and the mozzarella, the spicy pepperoni, the spicy sausage, that sauce was amazing. Fluffy dough, really crispy on the bottom. Everything turned out great. So excited. I've been working on this pizza for a long, long time, and this has turned out as one of my best. We all just hoovered the whole thing. The family just chowed it down. This is the last piece. Tasted amazing. Really appreciate you swinging by. If you like the content, please consider giving me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. We've got more fishing, bourbon, and pizza videos on the way. Thank you. Have a great rest of your night. Fish on.